What's going on, people? Cables. These cables, to be more specific. I got a couple new things, and I felt like just doing an unboxing, showcasing, and talking about it live. So here we are. Welcome to a Thursday, September the 4th. September the 4th, not May the 4th, like all the Star Wars fans would have you believe and participate in May. We did have a comment from like late last night. Someone came in and I titled this stream one of the most controversial, sort of triggering types of comments that I could possibly think of. Not to really provoke people into watching or paying attention, but just because. And buddy Scotty says to answer my question, do cables matter? And yes, they do. Yes, of course, because without them, nothing would work. Tesla was really good at a lot of things. Nikola Tesla, of course, was good at a lot of things in terms of electronics and that kind of thing. But we still need cables for signal and power for most cases. I mean, there are induction and things like that, but there are limits to signal transfer without cables. So cables matter. The reason why I wanted to do this unboxing is because I picked these cables up from a local shop, which I will talk about a little bit later on. But the first thing I want to do, I'll get straight to it. I realized I did a live video the other day about the Eversolo T8, and that video I didn't start talking about the T8 preview or the website about that product until 16 minutes into the stream. So apologies and thank you for everybody that actually watched that one. I do appreciate that very much. It's now reached out to about 1,000 or more people that saw that title, and I'm glad that some of the content here is reaching people, and I don't want to bait and bore people. I want to talk about what I've come to talk about. I don't want to use titles that are like clickbait or controversial for the sake of being controversial. I want to just get to the roots of it. And if it's interesting, it's interesting. I don't want to keep up with the algorithm and create something fake and, so over the top and dramatic just to capture, the people that are out there that are clicking through things. The way the algorithm works, it's like if you don't play along the algorithm, then you don't get any clicks, you don't get views, and then people are using it as their income. So, of course, they're influenced by the algorithm. I don't want to do that. So without further ado, I am going to open up the speaker cables. These came to me from a local shop. I will talk about that a little bit later, but I want to showcase the build quality of the cables. Obviously, I'm not going to do sound demos of cables while we're here on YouTube. That makes absolutely no sense. Very good presentation with these cables. They are, I think, nylon coated. Yeah, so nylon coated jacket, pretty flexible. They are PVC, not PVC, but flexible, sort of coated on the ends. Very nice binding posts. Listen to me. Banana jacks. The quality of the build here is really something. I gotta say, it's hard to actually, you can't really see a lot of what's going on there. But it's a very nice metallic feel with an insert in the middle with the name brand. Very nice split banana plugs. Not actually banana plugs because it doesn't actually split open like a banana. But it is a very nice quality. They have these branded Velcro straps here as the name brand on them. And they're made in Italy, so of course the Italian colors are there. So that's pretty cool. I think these are I'm pretty sure these are 6 foot lengths. Let me see if I can. 3 meters, of course. I said 6 feet like an American, but I'm actually not. I just use that nomenclature. Made in Italy, very good quality. They feel really good. I will have a session. I'll listen to them over the weekend. That way I can report on if they make any kind of different sound differences or character or any kind different from the cables that I did just get. There was a video online here, a number of them, including my Hegel preamp sort of speech, talking about the way that the new cables sounded. I just put them in the system a couple weeks ago. They sound amazing, actually. So that was the speaker cables. Another very, very nice stuff. Very good, like solid build quality, good packaging. There's a little booklet that comes with it. Also, here's the power cable. I mean, there's nothing incredibly fancy about it. So just pretty solid, decent packaging. You can see that the power outlet there has got like a see-through plastic plug. And then on the actual plug side, so they're branded, see-through plastic. I wouldn't say that there's anything over the top about these. It's just better than I say better with very loose terminology. There are safety ratings on the plug itself, so that's good. There's actually indicators there on the bottom of which one's positive, negative, and neutral, so that's pretty cool. I've never seen that before on the end of a terminal. Just in case it matters, like everything is not standardized these days, but I imagine that it is. So that's pretty cool. And thank you for anybody that is tuned in to watch. I did want to get this out there a little bit earlier in the afternoon. I know like a lot of the audience is in the USA. I mean, the analytics tell me that most of the audience that I have, well, most of the audience isn't subscribed, so that's the number one thing. I think 75% of people that watch any of the videos are not subscribed to my channel, which is typical. And then the other statistic that I noticed is that over 80% of the audience is in the USA, which is cool because I'm usually on in the evening and the weekends, and it's always Eastern Standard Time. So the market for audio in the US is pretty big, and YouTube appeals. So I wanted to go on a little bit earlier today to catch anybody who might be in Europe. I know my good buddy HomeTheater Denmark is usually on about these times. It's hit or miss trying to get everybody on stream to try and have a conversation. But that's the cables. Now let me talk about the web page. This is the web page for the products themselves. I will scroll down here. This is that's the same name as the speaker cables. So they make a lot of different stuff. They have the speaker cables there, the RCA cables as well, power cables in that series as well. You see the European plug here, coax cables. So they have multiple series. Interconnect, speaker cables, power cables, digital coax, USB. So they have all kinds of different stuff. And I just noticed they have a section here that says used. So that's pretty interesting. And then cables by the meter, meaning they could probably customize a length if you really wanted something different. So this is the cable that I have. The MK2, Magnus speaker MK2. The 3 meter pair. So there we go. That's the pricing. European. So there's a photo. We just saw them, obviously. Certifications. So like I was saying, on the jacket itself, it showed all of the different certifications, which is important. I want to say this to anybody out there that might be thinking of picking up something on Amazon or whatever. It looks fancy. It's got high ratings, whatever it is. Electrical safety ratings, you want to be really careful with it, because if you're getting something that you're using in your system and it doesn't have like globally recognized certification behind it. It means it wasn't tested under these circumstances. I would not want to have something that isn't certified in my audio system, especially something that's power. If it isn't soldered, welded, tested, whatever you want to call it in the system or to meet these standards, I wouldn't want it in my powertrain. I mean, speaker cable, not so bad because it's not dealing with high level voltage and power current, but a power cable, 100% you want it certified, safety certified. So that's very important there. So that's the speaker cable. All of the stuff is on their website. You guys can check that out. I say you guys very generically. There are a number of ladies that do watch the channel. Hey, there's HomeTheater Denmark. Watch you on my 135-inch. Can't chat much. My phone is acting up. That's cool. I appreciate it. I'm glad that someone is here and willing to comment. That's awesome. Thank you for being here. And these are the new cables that I picked up, just to recap. They were sent out to me by a store, and we're getting to that. I'm going to showcase, let me see, power cables. We did also get power cables, so you can see they have a lot of different sizes and series levels with different specs, so you can go from the bottom to the top. And this is the power cable series that I got. It's the one we were just looking at. Certifications again, like I said, safety certifications for power, it's very important. So yes, where I pick them up from is Princess Pasta Audio. If you guys are not familiar, if you're not familiar, that's an interesting thing. But if you are, this lady is a close, I would say, partner, business partner, associate of Zeos Pantera. Zeos is a reviewer of many, many things hi-fi. You can see here in the background, there's actually a number of products that he has put together. So here is the shop and the products that are listed. So Geshelli Labs is listed here. The cable manufacturer is listed here. A number of different things by Geshelli Labs, actually. And then the Z Reviews version headphones. So this is listed on the shop. Really, really nice and comfortable. I don't recall if I actually listened to these when I was at Montreal Audio Fest, but I believe they were on display. I'll have to look again at my photos. Yes, sir. The cables actually look pretty good. They feel really good too. It's high quality feel to the cables. Now, I know that the feeling of the cables is not really like that significant. You want the cables to sound really good, but you also want them to last a long time, especially if they're going to be in a system or exposed or environments, whatever it is. Them being all certified, that's a good thing for sure. So yeah, I just wanted to give a really big thanks and shout out to the shop here for helping me acquire these cables. And it originally came from, I was talking about cables on the channel a little while ago, and I guess Pasta, I don't know what name to use, but I'm just going to say Pasta because that's the common use name. She was watching some of the content, some of the stuff on Instagram and YouTube, and immediately sent me a message like, hey, you want to talk cables, huh? Like it's, that controversial sort of audiophile thing. And she's like, I got some cables for you. Let's do some business. So I was like, okay, like, why wouldn't I want to try something new out? This is, it's an opportunity for me to get to know Pasta a little bit better, and then also get to know some of the cables and the brands and stuff like that, and compare them against what I just got, which was world's best cables. I did buy them from Amazon, but it was really, really nice. Like they sound really incredible. They're 7 gauge, so they're twisted pair or dual twisted pairs. These cables seem to be of high quality as well. Let me just see for sure what the sizes are. Not this one. $1,700 sounds nice. This one is, so they are pure copper Very good dielectrics, good material there too. Hybrid wiring, twisted configuration, so that's good. I don't know. So these are 11 gauge versus the 7 gauge that are in my other ones. So there's a technical difference there in the cables, but I don't think that that's going to make much of a difference. Not in terms of adding, higher resistance. I mean, it even shows here per kilometer. Is that per kilometer? Are you kidding? Wow. Can I zoom? I guess I can't zoom in there. That's crazy. Capacitance is listed in picofarads per meter, so that's good. The fact that the brands are actually showcasing this kind of thing is really nice. I like that all these details are there to compare and contrast. Not to say that looking at specs tells you what the cables sound like, but at least it's something. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. I have one other thing that I want to showcase with everybody, but I'm going to have to look up the website first. Because I want to be able to, I want to show everybody kind of what I'm working with. And this one, share. Okay, I don't want anybody to show it what it is. We'll look at the page later. Need to upgrade my cables too. Yeah, these are from Italy too, so you can actually get them more local, and you'll have less of a hassle trying to get it from anywhere else, especially right now with everything being up in the air. Is crazy. Yeah, kilometer. That's crazy that they're using kilometer. You have to divide down by how many meters you have out of a kilometer in order to measure the resistance, which is crazy. Why would they do that math? Why wouldn't they just give you that math off the top? I have another box here. We're going to do another unboxing. This one's not listed in the description at all. This is just something that I had on my mind to get for like a long time. A lot of my friends had encouraged me to get one of these units, and I'll put it in the title later on. I'll put the cables and this device in the title, so for anybody who's watching afterwards, you would have seen this device, and then I'll tag the timing, and here I am 17 minutes in, and I'm going to be showcasing the interesting thing, or the alternative interesting thing. Again, this is something that I've wanted on the channel in my personal toolkit for a long time. I know that it can be overwhelming for a lot of people to step into, especially in audio. A lot of people don't care about the measurements, and they're like, you can't hear measurements, so what's the difference? But for those of us who are a little bit more curious than not, I will be using this thing in my future evaluations for confirmation for Dirac Live, which I have on my Denon receiver, I don't have it on my Denon receiver, but I can use it on my Denon receiver. I will be getting another device pretty soon, which I can't tell everybody about yet. It's nothing new. I just don't want to announce stuff before I actually get it. So a lot of times you just say things and then nothing happens. It's kind of disappointing. But I've got my fingers crossed. I should be getting another unit that does have Dirac Live included. So this is I believe it's a USB-C calibrated microphone. Yeah. So it's a USB-C calibrated microphone that is used with measuring devices to properly get, just a reading of the room. So they've got like a tiny little mic stand. Pretty cool. I don't have to set it up. You guys know what it is. It is what it is. Comes with, there's photos of it online, but it comes with a little mic clip and then the mic stand that I was just showcasing. But I have tripods, stuff like that I'm going to be using, so no big deal there. So anyways, that is the Umik-2, and the reason why I got the 2 is because this has a much higher resolution. The technical specs, 32-bit depth, 192 kilohertz sample rate. So it's got an embedded ADC, 120 dB of dynamic range, which is awesome. Can measure up to 125 decibels, which is good for like really loud like theater measuring. So that's awesome. This is no good for Scott Newby over at his place. He's got 155 decibels in his house. So I won't be doing that, but it does have it's got advanced features on it and more capable features on it than the Umik-1 does. Now the 1 will do a lot of people plenty good enough to get started. I happen to be in a position where I could get the 2, so I got the 2. So there's the other surprise for the day, is the Umik-2 will be going in the system, and I'll be doing some future measuring and calibrations and things like that. So here's the web page for the Umik-2, currently priced at $195 USD. Now I will tell you that I did order it from the website. There are some options via Amazon for the 1 and 2, but they were way overpriced. This one actually came with some customs and taxes I had to pay extra, so I paid an additional $34 Canadian on top of the US conversion. So it was not too expensive, and this is actually going to pair really well with another project that I will be adventuring into. The only question now for me is when I will be able to pick it up. Something that's interested in me for a long time is 3D printing. Now, 3D printing is not new. I'm going to look for the website here. 3D printing is nothing new, but it's come a long way, and there's a lot of advancements with what these things can do. And I've been looking at this particular printer brand and type because a lot of the guys that I've seen online, like HexiBase, and there's a number of different guys that are on YouTube that have used these devices and printers to make like some incredible speakers, actually. So if I can, I'll pull up one of the videos just for fun. And here, there you go. So this is directly from the HexiBase website, review of the one I was just looking at, and he's got an entire subwoofer, half of a subwoofer enclosure inside the printer. Towers on the desk. Now this is all just using 3D printers. You can get basic drivers and just go to town. So learning a little bit more about how to design, how these things work. You can set up all kinds of stuff. You can just assemble the speaker itself, and you can make pretty much anything you can imagine with these. Now, the real question is, do they sound good? I don't know, and that's why I have the microphone. Yeah, wasn't there a young guy who had made some speakers with 3D on some... Yeah, lots of guys. Lots of guys have made some products like this. They're all young guys, aren't they, young guys? So anyways, I think it's super cool that this is even possible, that you can 3D print a whole array of speakers like that. You can use... Hold on, there we go. So you can use, like, everything in here was 3D printed. Each one of these cylinders with the driver on the front, all connected that way. The connectors, the stand, everything was 3D printed using these devices. So, I mean, with the right tools and the right dedication to it, you could easily just print whatever you want. Now, the question is really, like, does it sound good? And that's the question that I have. Is it worth investing into something like this in this sort of world if it doesn't sound good anyways? Like, then what am I spending my money on? I'm spending my money on like videos like these where it's like, yeah, it's possible, but I mean, what am I really getting out of it at the end of the day? I could make lots of other kinds of things that are cool that are not audio related. Maybe I can make speaker stands that tilt, or I can make speaker grills that have different patterns in it. See, my thing would be to maybe prototype a lot of stuff. Like if I wanted to try some kind of new waveguide, then I can come up with some geometry in the 3D printing software, like AutoCAD, and then I can just print and check it out. And now that I have the microphone, I can just trial and error my own kind of designs, right? Like, and if I don't invest in this kind of thing, if I don't take a step in my own world, I'll never be able to, prove a case or disprove or make any kind of a, headway in terms of this kind of thing. So that's kind of how these things are related. The microphone itself is going to help me calibrate. Look at it, it's too bright. So the microphone itself will help me test objectively what's going on. I can listen to a raw driver. I can listen to it in a plain MDF box that's squared off or whatever. Then I can round the corners and measure it again. And then I can stuff it with this and that and measure it again. And without the tools to verify what I'm talking about, then I'm just making shit up. And I thought it would be a really cool idea to start doing this stuff. And yeah, I have these new tools and I'm excited to use it. I don't know what's going to come of it. It does cost quite a bit. The printer is going to cost me in terms of buying the raw material. So like the PLA material or whatever kinds of filaments they called. Yes, cables matter. There's another one. Big facts. And we've already gone through all of my cable topics up to this point. So welcome. Thanks for joining. Sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah. The idea of putting 3D printing to work and getting to see, the thing for me that's really interesting is I've always had a lot of ideas, always full of ideas, talk a lot, have ideas, write stuff down, drawings. I have lots of drawings of stuff, but I've never been able to actually put it into production because, one, I live in an apartment, so I can't have a lot of tools here. I don't have space right now, which I'm working on. Next year should be a different story altogether. And now that I have this opportunity in this direction in order to go into like 3D printing, I can start small, but with a printer the size of that, BambuLabs H2D, it has a build plate that's big enough to do 10 by 10 by 10 basically. So I can do a 2-part box and make, easily I could do a KEF R3 Meta box with bracing, with different infills, with different port design. I can 3D print the port itself. The whole baffle I can print itself. Now, ideally, and this is I'm gonna put something on screen here, and people are gonna think I'm nuts for even thinking about it, but I think it's possible. Not shopping. What am I doing? Images. I would like to attempt to 3D print something like this. Just the cabinet. The cabinet has got so many different facets to it. I mean, obviously I can't do that, but then there is a carbon fiber filament that I could actually use to 3D print this section, and it would print right in. A lot of the different like angles. Let me see if I can call this one up. Image, new tab. So I adore this brand. There's no hiding that. I've been a shill for this brand for a long time. They don't pay me. Actually, when I did have a pair of these speakers, these X1s in white, I did borrow a pair a long while ago, and unfortunately, I did an unboxing live, and it should not have been live. Let's just put it that way. It didn't go over well. I had to give the pair back. I'm hoping that I can get another pair again someday, if not buy them. But part of my interest here is they're not so big. They're a bookshelf speaker, and they're an interesting shape that if you wanted to do this out of wood, you'd have to either bend or ply or carve out the wood in order to make those shapes. So they have an interesting tweeter. It's an insert baffle. So if I can call this one up, image, new tab. So if you look at the surround here, if you look around this edge, the whole cabinet on the outside, the back, top, whatever, is all lacquer finished. It's amazing. There's really, really good quality. But the baffle itself is an insert. This is a different this is a different plastic piece that covers part of the surround, and it's a down rolled surround. And then the tweeter is inset inside of its own housing. So the baffle is pressed into the rest of the cabinet. That would be something that I could easily print myself. If I got the measurements, I could make my own baffle in whatever color I wanted. If I wanted it in white to match the rest of the cabinet, I could easily do that. I mean, you could make them out of wood too, but it would be much harder because you'd have to replicate. I mean, you'd have to replicate all of it in 3D software in the first place. And then you could send it to CNC, and then a CNC machine could like mill it out of wood. So that would be kind of cool. It looks pretty, that's pretty serious. Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about the model of speaker itself, yeah, I agree. These are really great. Let me see. So yeah, I'm interested in playing around. I mean, and that's not all. If you want to talk about some serious speaker, then I mean, look at this. More rounded edges, more flared features. Definitely higher end speaker. Let me see if I can find this one instead on. There's actually not a lot of photos of this one. There's a couple of my photos on here somewhere. That one's not a good photo. That's not a good photo. I have really good photos somewhere, but I don't know where they are. Hey, Larry's in the house. What's going on? We're just talking about different ideas going forward here. I showcased a number of things just a little while ago. Right now I'm in this think space of 3D printing, and the big news was that I got a number of cables that I showcased earlier. I got this, and I wanted to pair some of my ideas that I've had with 3D printing either models that are similar size or similar-ish design in my own language, because obviously I don't want to copy Borresen. Borresen's amazing, and I am highly influenced by his designs, as well as the Rido designs and a number of others that are in the world. I love what I'm seeing with these, but they don't have everything that I like. So I really and truly want to design something that I would really love to have that takes an influence from their specs. Obviously, I won't have the drivers. I can't do the Borresen tweeter unless I buy a pair and then rip everything out to put in my own, which would be absolutely insane. I mean, I love these and I'll probably get them eventually, but the curiosity is, could I 3D print something that comes close? Could I print a smaller version? Could I do it in a smaller driver? How would they sound, And that's where the microphone comes in. So I know today was really about cables, and I did talk about, do cables matter? And I really appreciate Pasta for reaching out to me and telling, getting my attention and telling me hey, if you really want to talk about cables, you want to check something out, then, I'll help you out. And that's how we got here. So I'll put this on screen one more time. So this is the shop that helped me out. There's not really a whole lot going on here. There's not a lot of contact, but it's Princess Pasta Audio and princesspasta.audio is the website. Lots of stuff here, cables, headphones, desktop DACs, headphone amps, all kinds of stuff that's here. Multiple layers of cables and connectors. And then also this version of a headphone amp. This is Orchard Audio's Valencia headphone amplifier, which is actually really dope. It's got XLR inputs, it's got headphone outputs balanced on the front, and then it's actually got a certain level of speaker level output. I think it's up to 5 watts, if I'm not mistaken. I've heard them talk about it quite a bit. So there's not a lot of specs here. The specs will be on the Orchard Audio site, but you can check that out as well as headphone amps. If you're into headphones in general, then I think that that's a really good option. Silver one's not available. The silver one looks so good. As a headphone amp, come on. So that's a collaboration with Zeos as well. So Orchard Audio Zeos. I mean, he's one of the first people that I remember actually reviewing any of the Orchard Audio stuff at all. So shout out to Z for that, and Leo for all of his great work at Orchard Audio. I had the amps for quite a while here at home, and I love the GANFET tech. It's so light. It's so quiet. I mean, there's no noise coming out of the amps. There's no heat that comes off of any of those amps. And to have a pair of monoblocks that go to 250 watts that weigh 6 pounds is amazing. Amazing tech. You don't need to have 100 pounds of amplifier that heat up your room anymore. I mean, yeah, there is an argument about the way everything sounds. I get it. But, I mean, can nothing else in the system get that sound? And you don't need to have this much of a inefficient heater on the floor? I don't know. I'm a big fan of Class D in general. Hello, Mirage. Thank you for joining. Love it. I'm on early enough that you guys get to join before 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, that's the webpage that I got from. Again, the cables that I picked up. Let me scroll real quick down to the ones that I picked up. This is the ones that I grabbed. These ones here. They are really, really nice. Really solid build quality. I did showcase them a little bit at the beginning of the video. A number of different topics today, so I'm going to have to change my title just a little bit to keep myself honest. I do appreciate everybody being here. If anybody's got audio questions, I guess now's a good time to do Q&A before I get up to my 45-minute to an hour timeline. The home theater, as you can see around me, it's 11 channel surround sound in my living room, which is where I am right now. It hasn't had an update in a while. The Denon A10H is my most recent update on the theater. Speakers are going to have to wait because I'm really focused on the 2-channel room right now. Maybe into 2026 I can see something kind of changing. I've been looking really hard at the KEF R series. And I think it would be really nice to go from the Monolith Encore series, which have been absolutely great up to this point. I may just do our KEF R series all the way around. So can everybody picture seeing like an R3, an R3, another R3, another R3, R3 metas all the way around as rear channels? I mean, am I crazy? Do I need to do that much level? I mean, maybe not. I could do the Concerto 3s or the Q series. Is it the Q series now? Q Meta? Is it Q Meta series? I'm pretty sure. Let me just look that up while I'm talking off of the front of my face here. KEF Audio, KEF Canada. Share this tab instead. So why, like, I come up with a lot of things. Like, I have ADHD, so while I'm talking, a lot of stuff is just pouring out of my face. And Q series. So I was right. So Q series has a number of really great options, and I think a lot of them have actually proven quite well. And the most unique thing, I believe Aaron tested these ones. They do come in white. So I do think that this would be a good series. I mean, I could probably get the Q series around for rears. Why would I? I don't need that much power up front. All black. Looks really nice all black. For theater, I think that would be pretty cool. So they have the towers as well. I think, you know, I've been a really, really big fan of white speakers for a long time. So sounds fantastic. Would look great. Future will tell. Yeah. I've already talked to some people about KEF, and I really like what they've done before. And the Q series does offer quite a bit, and it would be quite a good improvement over what I have here right now. They do have really nice subs as well. Let me see where are the subwoofers. The subwoofers reference 8B. No. 8B. Is this a new one? It's a bipolar. That's a... Wow, look at the price. Maybe I won't get that one after all. That's $13,000 Canadian. Let me just go back. Never mind that one. Maybe this one, though. This would be nice. There we go. 3,500. That's not so bad. Get it in white. It's a dual opposed subwoofer. I think that looks clean. Like, this is some of the cleanest industrial design I've seen in all of audio. The way that they just completely cover everything. It's so clean. Their towers, the R series towers, are so amazing. This not so much, but this is a lower model. So yeah, I remember HomeTheater Denmark was telling me I love my KEF Q950s. Nothing fancy, just your regular speakers with a great sound. Yeah, I remember the old series. They had a different kind of look. They had a bigger waveguide and tweeter here. Not as many active drivers though. If you look at the specs, the older Q series had passive radiators in the cabinet. These are all active woofers now. So that's the big difference between the old Q series and the Q Meta series. Well, obviously, one, they put Meta in the coax or the Umik-2, and then all of the drivers now are active. So that means you're getting a lot more output power here. So I mean, 37, 6 dB down, that's pretty good. 44 to 20, pretty good for a theater. You just roll everything off at 50 for your subwoofers, and there you go. Not a bad deal. So subwoofers, I'm going to go back over here. Specs. Is there specifications? Come on. So 11 hertz. You got to be kidding me. 11, they're speccing it down to 11 hertz. So it's a dual, what is it? Dual 9-inch drivers in the KC92. There's a 62, which is really cute, but I think I'd prefer this. The KC92, besides some towers, I mean, not like this. This is a little nuts. Blade 2s and then 6 subwoofers. Okay, that's too much. I don't have a room that big. But I mean, the design language is so nice. It's so clean looking. So maybe some R series up front, center channel, and then Q series around the rear just to fill everything in, and then a couple of subs. Looks similar to mine, but they have 2 passive radiators. I know they will play better with a sub. Yeah, absolutely play better with a sub. And I plan on getting a sub like that for the theater. I mean, I know that SVS has got some great stuff, but at the same time, they don't make anything in white. And I know people are saying, like, why would you put white in a home theater? It's so distracting. I'm like, well, I'm already fully distracted, so the speakers are not going to bother me at all. A lot of DSP, and they don't list SPL at giving frequency range. Dark audio channel posted some measurements of KC62 in his room. Good extent. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I know that they're really capable, and they're really long throw drivers. They're 6-inch drivers with that surround that's like multi-folded surround is nuts. If you've ever seen, or if you've never seen the KEF surround, C62 driver surround. So I'm using my Google skills now. Image. Yeah, that'll work. So there's the driver. That's the KC62 driver. And you can see here it's got all these ridges on the back. It's ridged for our pleasure. It's got multiple ridges here because it's like a twin, like a double fold surround, and it unfolds as it extends in both directions. It's down rolled so it can be hidden by that baffle that we were looking at earlier, but it has a lot of extra excursion. So even though there's 6s in this sort of, I don't know what they call this, unicore. I think they call it a unicore body, the way that the coils are wrapped around each other. So it shares one magnet system. Pretty cool stuff, I gotta say. I've always liked KEF. Always loved the design language. It's amazing stuff. So I'm interested in maybe going that direction. It depends on, there it is. There's the surround. What they call P-flex surround. So the 92 is not using that unibody or unicore magnet system. This is one of the older ones, but still has a really nice, rippled surround. This is to improve linearity, reduce distortion, dynamic range, stuff like that. That's what this is for. So I know I'm way off my original topic here, talking about KEF and all of this stuff, but the reason why we all came here today is because I picked up these cables and I showcased them earlier, and I picked them up from Princess Pasta Audio. So thank you very much to her and everybody else. If anybody else has got questions about either the channel, myself, the things that I talked about, anything like that, we can scroll through some stuff. I'll bring up some other topics if necessary. I did bring up all the KEF stuff because I haven't updated my HomeTheater here. I have the Monolith Encore surrounds and the T6 towers in front of me. I don't have a proper center channel. The TV needs to be updated to something that's new 4K HDR. There's a lot of different things. I mean, you can only do it a little bit at a time, and I got a couple of toys now, so I'm hoping to use the Umik-2 with potentially the 3D printer to do prototyping and design work for some of the ideas that I've had for years. Now, I know a lot of speaker designers. I talk to a lot of teams. I know people that are like in the background. I would love to work with them and try to figure out some things. If I can get really good at CAD and 3D designing and processing, then maybe I could do printed parts for, I don't know, amplifier builders. I mean, AGY is here in Ontario, and I know a lot of other Canadian builders that are coming up with stuff. And if they are really busy and they don't have designers to do these things, then maybe I can just help them out. That's kind of the proof is in the pudding, right? If I can do 3D modeling and proof of concept with a 3D printer and then use the microphone to test and try it out. So like if I'm doing waveguides or cabinet design or whatever the case may be, you can 3D print in three different materials now. The printers I was talking about earlier have 2 different heads and can load 2 different materials. So I can essentially print speaker stands with cushioning right in the stand. It doesn't even have to be a separate part. So if I can do it all one shot, then I can reiterate quite a number of different things and just see what happens. You know, I don't have accelerometers to measure cabinet vibration and dampening and that kind of thing, but I can try a bunch of other stuff out. And then the other thing that I wanted to do is a secret. I've been online and I've given away so many ideas to people before that I'm just not doing it anymore. I just want to share with you and say, hey, I picked up some new toys, you know, got the microphone, and we got the cables. So that's cool. Yeah, and I'm going to be testing these out in the next couple of days. And then the microphone probably over the weekend as well. I've got to dial in my laptop and my REW and get familiar with how this thing works. I know that a lot of my good friends have had this in their systems quite a bit. A lot of the reviewers do in-room measurements, and I'm sure that they've gotten to learn how to use this, and they use it in their reviews all the time. This is just to objectively figure out what's going on. If I want to get better bass in my system and I want to put treatments in a certain area, then I can move stuff around, and I can use a real-time analyzer to figure out exactly what's going on now. So we're approaching the hour mark. If anybody else has any questions, please. Now is the time. I will be signing off in a number of minutes. I do appreciate all my friends for tuning in and joining, and for everybody who has seen the different things that I've showcased. I probably will change the title of the video to a more appropriately list and showcase what I've shown during the hour. The cables, speaker cables, power cables, the storefront that I was talking about, the idea of using the MiniDSP Umik-2 to do testing and prototyping on some ideas. I showcased a 3D printer, and then I showcased some ideas for speakers in the theater system moving forward. So if I remember, future self, do the editing, you lazy bum. Do the editing, put the chapters in the thing for everybody to watch and click through. God. But thank you everybody for being here on this earlier Thursday stream. I appreciate it. Praying that things go well next year. I've got my fingers crossed. I have to make a couple of things happen. It's been a long year. 2025 took some number of turns. It's been really interesting. So bless everybody out there. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. If you haven't subbed, and you can sub, I'm almost at 2,000. And maybe by the end of the stream, or after a number of people have seen the stream, we can hit 2,000. Or if you invite some friends that are also in the industry and make it 2,500, it wouldn't hurt, is what I'm saying. The more things, the more support, and the more that I can show that my channel matters to anybody, the better opportunities I'll have to bring things to you. And I don't want to bring a lot of the same stuff. So you can challenge me to bring something that nobody else is bringing. You know, I'm okay with that. I would love to do something different. I'm different by nature anyways. I don't like following the sheep. And I don't mean sheep. I just mean the flock. I'm on the cliff somewhere. Like, I'm different. I have to be true to myself. I need to stick to my guns. Not that I have guns because I'm in Canada. But anyways, you know what I'm trying to say. This is ridiculous. The more help that I get, the more support that I can showcase, then I can bring in different things to talk about here. So what's this question? More subs would be better for us all. Hit the like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, it's welcomed, and I never really ask at the beginning of a video, and never, like, before I've even said anything. Why would I ask anybody to like and subscribe before I've even said anything? That doesn't make sense. That's begging for the attention. Now, I know it matters, and I know how it matters, but before I've said anything, I mean, if I earned it at the end of the video, great. But if I said, like, nonsense all video and it's not of any interest to you, don't subscribe. That's okay. I mean, what difference, you know? Why would you show support for something you don't like? That's the really, really interesting part. So I'm trying to prove and earn that viewership. I am trying to do something different in a space where it's highly competitive. There are a lot of guys with 100,000 subscribers already that get stuff sent to them free end over end every week by brands that are like all across the world. They get a lot of stuff for free. It's easy for them to just film new stuff. All of the smaller channels have a very hard time trying to figure out how to do that. It's much more difficult at the bottom when there's already a competitive space for marketing. The marketing is already going to go to the highest numbers. That's easily understood. I can understand that too. So that's how it works. And like God, universe, nature. Yes. Okay. That makes sense. Thank you for the clarification. So I am going to get out of here. I wish you all well. I wish you a great week, a good weekend. For all those that are going back to school, and I don't think there's anybody that watches my channel who's younger than 20. If somebody that's younger than 20 comes across this video, please tell me in the comment. If this reached somebody under 20, I will be shocked, especially if they come and see me at the end of the video. Anyways, back to school season for all the parents out there. Be safe, rest easy, keep your loved ones close as it were. I appreciate everybody for being here, supporting. Another big shout out to Princess Pasta Audio for sending out the cables for me to check out in defiance of my previous cables that I bought, the world's best cables. I am to listen to both of them and give my feedback on what they sound like, which I am going to do at my most honest and see what happens. Yeah, it is what it is. I will leave you at that. It's been about an hour. I'm going to go and have something to eat, chill out for the rest of the night, watch a couple things on Netflix, set up maybe a stream for Friday night, tomorrow night, Saturday for sure. Yeah, and I'll see you guys all Saturday, probably at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. Is that cool? Everybody has different timelines whenever you're awake, whatever's better. So if you have preferences, leave them in the comments. In any of the videos, the lives, say, hey, I wish you were available at this time or that time or that time. If I get an idea of when my audience is available, then I can, try to serve those times as best as I can. I have a day job. I come home. I do these things on my free time. So I'll see what I can do. And yeah, thank you everybody for being here. Take care. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. I'll see everybody in the next couple of days with some videos. Do some other stuff with whatever products I have. I think I'm like 5 or 6 different things coming in the next little while, maybe even 7 or 8 different things. I can't wait to share them. And I feel so blessed to be able to do that. Also, don't forget Toronto Audio Fest is coming up. Toronto Audio Fest will be 17, 18, 19 in Toronto by the airport. Most of the major brands are going to be coming. There is a web page that you can go to for the Toronto Audio Fest. Check that out. If you're interested, I think Audiophile Junkie will be coming. Jay-Z Augie sometimes shows up. There's a number of other guys on YouTube that do showcase some things from the show. I'll be doing tours of both buildings, upstairs, downstairs, all of the different floors. Third floor, fourth floor, third floor, second floor mezzanine, ground floor, and then there's a whole other section, plus a whole other hotel, depending on how they're going to do everything this year. So, yeah, awesome. So after 6, I'm around, but anything you see fit is good. Thank you for that update. That's awesome. Yes, so Toronto Audio Fest, future goods that are on the way, and I'll see everybody in the future. So thank you very much for joining in and all of the support, whatever form of support it is, even if it's just a comment. I appreciate it. I'll see everybody in the next video. And before I get rambling onto something else, thank you guys. Thank you, everybody. One more comment. Man, would you just let me go? I know that you like me that much, but come on. Maybe I should try ordering Magna subwoofer interconnects. Well, they are local, like I said, so you could definitely do that. Awesome quality, for sure. Thank you for checking it out. They'll appreciate it. You can tell them that I sent you, and then maybe they'll give me a pat on the back. All right. Bye, guys.